And the codependency it's sometimes tricky because codependency is often right or correct, but it is this ineffective pattern where my insides and my outsides are out of alignment. I might be over functioning in my relationship and thinking that I'm doing right by my partner, thinking that my partner needs this assistance when possibly they haven't asked, or possibly they don't want my assistance. It's this assumption, and it really comes out of an external locus of control. Often, little ones, when they're raised in a family system where their needs, their emotional needs are not tended to. And that doesn't mean that they've come from an abusive background or that they've been harmed. It's just that they don't have the emotional attunement to look at themselves as readily as they do to be looking at everyone else. An example might be where if a little one is told, you better quit crying or I'll give you something to cry about, their focus shifts from whatever they're crying about to being on alert and making sure that the environment is safe, that they're not going to upset the parent. And when that happens often and over time, often the codependent person has difficulty knowing what they need. They have difficulty expressing or asking for what they need, but they're very clear on what everybody else needs.
I love how you frame that. That is so true. They have a hard time advocating for themselves or speaking their feelings and their needs in a healthy and balanced way, or speaking their truth. But they certainly can tell somebody else what they're feeling or what they should do.
And that's really, their training.
Yeah.
And it works out really well until it turns into a resentment. I'm just going to help. I'm just trying this because, but then when it switches to where there's resentment or lack of speaking the truth, either because they don't know it or the environment doesn't have enough emotional safety for the person to say something in vulnerability. So instead, it usually comes out in maybe some passive aggressiveness or the quintessential you statement. I feel you need to clean up this garage. That's not helpful.
Yeah. And it's also, I find it also, you made me feel whatever. You made me feel depressed, or you made me feel anxious. And the other person may be doing something that's terrible, but you are responsible for your feelings about that. So kind of having that awareness can be a big shift for a lot of people.
Well, and I have these little ticklers in my office where when I do work with couples or when I work with individuals and they're telling me about a conversation with someone that they're in relationship with, I think the most injurious word for a relationship is the word why, because it elicits that defense. And there's often a you wrapped up in the why. Why did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I just got chills because I find with my clients going through divorce in that first year, there's a lot of whys. Why did you do this? Why did you leave? Why did you abandon me? A lot of that. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense that would be wrapped up in the you.
Exactly. And what I've seen is that by the time I'm asking that question and my hand is on my hip and why, there's really not an answer, even if my partner tries to answer the question. there's not an answer that I'm going to be satisfied with. And what is much more revealing is if I eliminate that word and try to speak from the I, like I was really scared, or I was really betrayed, or there's something much more truthful behind the word why and the word you. Mm-hmm. And so trying to help my clients with becoming more aware of the I, that will change not only the relationship, their primary, but every relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. It has an effect on your relationship with your kids and your coworkers and your friends and family. Absolutely. And I want to kind of confess, I too am a codependent in recovery. I came from a family of origin with addiction and alcoholism, and, was modeled codependency in my childhood that I've been spending a lifetime unwinding from. So this is something that I know personally, and it's something I've really worked on to try to show up in a healthier way in all my relationships. So, and I get a sense it's the same for you. This is something at a deep level.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I don't think I ever am cured of it, but I'm always working with it. I'm always getting the opportunity to check in with the relationship with myself, which really informs the relationship with everybody else. And yeah.
Well, do you ever get the question from clients, or let me reframe it. A client might say, I'm not codependent. I'm very independent. I'm a VP at the bank and I make $200,000 a year, and there's no way I'm codependent. So how do you address that kind of comment?
I feel like you read a script for this question. It's so perfect. So I think what many people conjure up in their mind about codependency is this sort of neediness, like, I know what you need, da 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 da. And two extremes of the same behavior often bring about the same result. And the other polar opposite definition would be needlessness. That the definition of codependency would be needlessness. I'll do it my damn self. I don't want to take the time to show anybody else how to do it because I will waste my time and I'll do it better myself anyway. And while all that could be true, I think the characteristic that is so depleting is the isolation and the lack of connection, the lack of just the humanness about, I don't want to do this anymore. I want someone else to do it. And the relationship becomes more important. And I mean the relationship with oneself more important than the task.
Mm-hmm. So I want to make sure I'm summarizing that so that the listener understands. So essentially what you're saying is it's not so much about neediness. It's more about a lack of awareness around your own needs and your own feelings and expecting your partner to kind of fix it for you in a sense, or hold them accountable for what you feel and what you need. Okay. Just want to make sure I got that right.
That's one side. And I think the other side is I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
I don't need anybody. I'm a rock. I'm an island. And I think many of the clients that I work with are really quite successful, high functioning, and very, very intelligent. And I'll often say that their skill set to operate in isolation, they've got that down. And coming to work on or addressing their codependency is teaching them how to do things in relationship. And relationship to and with oneself first. If I walk around the world and keep saying things about myself or to myself, like I'm such an idiot, I can't believe I did that, I can't believe blah, 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 blah. really difficult to not have that impact how I see the world.